welcome back to Call She Confessions. I'm your host, Mia LePage, and today I have a very special guest. Born and raised in St. Louis, he is a creative director, choreographer, producer, and educator, the founder of Behind the Movement Dance Intensive, which I have attended quite a few times. He's also the creator of the Dear Black Boy live production. Some of his credits include, but are not limited to, choreographing for the Grammys, the BET Awards, artists like Lotto, one of my favorites, and Cardi B, Lil Baby, Doechii, and many more. I have a very special person. He is also a mentor and educator and responsible for launching the careers of a lot of professional dancers. I have Jeremy Green on the podcast. Welcome, Jeremy.
Thank you, Mia, for that intro.
Of
That was
course.
amazing. Happy to be here.
So happy to have you.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
This is all beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Good.
Yeah, you've been such a huge part of my journey, and BTM has been such a huge part of my life. So I'm really excited to sit down and talk with you today.
That makes me happy. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. So take us back to growing up in St. Louis. What were you like as a kid?
Bad. No. St. Louis was great. I was in St. Louis until about the age of 21. So, St. Louis really built me. It really built who I am as an individual. There's a lot of hidden gems, talent-wise, in St. Louis, and I was a part of that culture. A small city, but a powerful city. Very family-oriented and family-based, very real, very honest. And we're just known for being hard workers and consistent and persistent. So St. Louis really, I have a whole lot of love in my heart for St. Louis.
Yeah, sounds similar to Philly, how I would
Yep.
describe it.
Yep.
Yeah. So were you always interested in the arts?
Yeah, for as long as I know, I've always had a passion for anything art, specifically dance. And dance, I remember watching Janet Jackson, The Velvet Rope, and I was like, okay, I want to do that. I didn't know what it was at the time, but I was like, I want to be a part of that. And it was not only the dance part, it was the full spectacle of the actual production, and I just remember how that made me feel in that moment. Anytime I could get by it or around it, I, jumped on it.
Yeah. That's so cool, watching those videos and noticing, like, this is what I want to be a part of. How did you start taking those steps, going to dance classes?
So I actually started in church. So I had no formal training, and then in St. Louis, mime dance is really popular in the churches. So I started in a mime group at Westside Missionary Baptist Church, where I grew up. And from there, my sister, Yolanda, she said, you really have a gift, and you need to be around people that are doing this professionally. And she introduced me to a guy named Anthony Red Williams. And she took me to one of his night classes. He used to teach night classes at night for like 2 hours for like $5. And she took me to a night class, and I went in there and failed miserably. I didn't know what the hell was going on. But that was the first time I actually took a professional dance class. And I was like, okay, I got to get this. So I kind of followed him wherever he was, and I started to professionally train with him at the time. And he was going back and forth to New York. I mean, not New York, L.A. And so every time he would go back to L.A., he would come back and teach those night classes and teach us what he taught. So we were getting L.A. through him. And so I just trained with him for years. We then became best friends. He's like a big brother to me, and he started to mentor me and really took me up under his wing until I made the decision to move to Nashville. Moved to Nashville, and I booked my first job with Leanne Rimes.
Wow.
CMAs, yep. There was a agency there called DDO.
Okay,
And it was a guy named Jason Lopez. I think that was his name. And I moved there. I sent him an email. And I was like, hey, I'm a dancer from St. Louis. I just moved here. I'm trying to get signed. And he was like, I'm not signing any dancers right now, but there's an audition at the Bridgestone Arena. And if you go and you book it, I'll sign you. and I walked to the Bridgestone Arena. Didn't know what I was getting myself into. And Benji Shimmer, I hope I'm saying his last name right, from So You Think You Could Dance was the choreographer. And it was it was like a Broadway audition. Like the choreography was very Broadway and musical theater based.
Yeah.
And I just knew I didn't have it. I was like, I don't have this job. But I fought for it.
Yeah.
And I ended up booking the job, and that was my first job.
Wow. Were you, with Anthony Red Williams, were you primarily training like hip hop and commercial styles?
Commercial hip hop.
Okay.
Like Anthony does everything.
Yeah.
So jazz funk, we learned how to vogue. I remember one time I popped my knee out of place trying to learn how to do a dip. Like it was, I mean, he whatever he was engulfed in the moment, that's what we learned.
So then stepping into a room where the choreography is musical theater was different than from what you had been training.
And you know what saved me with that? I also, on my downtime when I was not training with him, I took level 1 like ballet and jazz, and I would pop into these classes. So I had a very small vocabulary and some of that. That's what helped me get that audition.
Yeah, because you were still familiar with
right.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
I gotta say, $5 dance classes.
Yeah,
That's
$5. And then, you know what? Honestly, I think at one point it was like whatever you could pay. So it was like $1, $2, and
That's amazing.
I'm sure I wasn't paying because he was like a brother to me. So I'm like just pulling up and taking class. But yeah.
Well, shout out to him.
Shout out to Red.
And you said the first class you failed miserably.
Absolutely.
But you knew you wanted to do this.
Yeah.
So what kept you going?
Passion.
Yeah.
I couldn't see myself not doing it. And the crazy part is I walked away from it a couple of times. I was like, I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to be a nurse. And, I tried to go to college but that dance it wasn't leaving.
Yeah.
It was in my heart.
And that's how you know you're meant to
Yeah.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you ended up booking that first job. Mm-hmm. What was that experience like?
It was great. It was like that sealed the deal for me. That experience being on that stage in front of all those people, the rehearsal process, the costume process, everything creatively that it embodied, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
This is it. And I felt in that moment, this is what I've been working for, to feel this moment. So
definitely. So then what was the next step after that?
Next step was Atlanta. So I was going back and forth to Atlanta with a friend. And while he was handling his business with his father who lived in Atlanta, I would go to the dance studios. And at the time, it was Dance 411 and Gotta Dance.
Yeah.
And CC Kelly did a showcase called Phases of Love. And it was outdoors, if I remember correctly. And I went to the show, and it was kind of like a carnival in Atlanta. And I was like, yeah, I need to be here. I need to move here. And maybe a couple of months later, I packed up my Pontiac. I had $500 in my pocket, and I drove right to Dance 411. And I asked them to intern for free classes, and that's what started my journey with Dance 411.
Amazing. Yeah, that work-study program.
Yep, the work-study program.
Yeah. So far, I love how much initiative you've taken from that cold pitching yourself to that agent, and it led to that audition that you booked that job, and then betting on yourself and packing up, moving to Atlanta, and going to the studio and asking for an internship. Yeah. I think some people can feel stuck and not know what to do, but I think taking action and just going for it anyway is key.
Yep. Conversation we were having before we rolled was just like, you just got to do it.
Right.
You just got to do it, and wherever it meets you, but you got to put one step forward.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because that's going to lead to the next thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were able to start taking and training.
Yep. So I moved. So I'm in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I'm interning. I started training, taking classes, and that's where I met Cindy Guerrero, and she was the owner of the studio. So I remember we were on they ended up booking me on a Georgia lottery job. It's a big industrial job that they do. And we were like football players. And Jasmine Guy was the choreographer. And I remember asking her, I was like, hey, if you need it, I didn't have a job at the time.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine was letting me sleep on her floor because I had nowhere to live too. I moved there homeless. So I was like, hey, if you have any open positions, I would love to work at the studio. And she was like, okay, cool. She was like, actually, I do. She was like, meet me at my house tomorrow.
Okay.
Met her at her house. Walk right to her husband. And he's like, who the hell is this? And she was like, Jeremy, he's going to be our new personal assistant. That was my introduction. And he was like, he was like, I don't even know him. Why is he's going to be around my daughter? Like, who is this kid? Cindy, like, what's going on? So he was like, he asked me a couple of questions. And then the first assignment was they were going to Bali.
Okay.
And he needed some dental work done. And he gave me a budget, and he told me to find him a dentist in Bali. That was my first assignment with him.
Wow.
I'll never forget that. And I found that dentist in Bali and came back, and that started our journey.
Awesome.
So they ended up hiring me. And I assisted her on everything, pretty much. Personally, I assisted at the studio, all the needs, whether it was working behind the front desk, whether it was cleaning the studio, opening and closing the studio for rehearsals. And then agency side, I also helped her with that and learned a lot, on that side, because at the time they owned Block South, which later turned into 411 South. So they were the third entity of what Block is now. So I was involved in all facets.
Right.
And then training at night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So putting in a lot of hours.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's cool you kind of got that like 360 view. You were assisting with personal things, but also the agency side, and then, taking your classes at night.
Yeah.
What do you think was the most like important and valuable things you learned from assisting her on the agent side of things?
That's a good question. I think consistency. I think on the dancer side, I was able to see how consistent the choreographers that were signed at the time were with their craft and how seriously they took it.
Yeah.
And how hungry they were. And on the other side, she was a phenomenal agent, how she was pushing her clients and really, also developing them into the superstars that they are now. She's actually Sean's agent, still to this day. Yeah. So, just being consistent and, working your ass off. Can I go?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Working your butt off to get to where you need to get to.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
not taking no for an answer. She was very persistent. Like, she knew how to sell a glass of water. Very persistent. Yeah.
That's something from my working in the talent agency experience is the not take no for an answer.
Yep.
I've definitely noticed that. And like not being afraid to like push and stand up on behalf of your client.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's so interesting because I think a lot of dancers, they might work with agents because they're represented, but they don't see what goes on the back end. They don't really know all the work that the agent's putting on their behalf because they're not seeing that day to day.
Yep.
So I think it's really cool because it gives you a perspective of everything else that's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah. It made me also have a lot of respect for agents too.
Yeah.
So when I hear dancers complain, I always try to be that segue in between because I do know that side and I've seen it, but I also know the other side too. So there's a lot of respect there.
Definitely. Yeah. So from going and working as an agent's assistant, what was the next step?
So working as an assistant, and then they started what did they call it at the time? Like a youth group dance.
Okay.
They started kid classes and they wanted to start a competition team.
So
I was doing like showcases around the city, like choreography showcases around the city. And, I was starting to get in more positions of leadership. And I honestly feel like not just because of my talent, but because of where I stood with her too. I think people were trusting my judgment more.
Yeah.
And I was at her house one day helping her. And she told me, she was like, you're a choreographer and creative director. And I was like, what? Because at this time, I still wanted to dance, And she was like, what? And then I remember my first tour. So let's go back. My first tour, I actually booked while working with her, too. Nick DeMora with the Universal Soul Circus. He was the choreographer. And I ended up getting my sister a job on that tour. And I was leaving the tour, and we were walking around the tent, and my sister looked at me and she said, "You're supposed to put this stuff on. You're bigger than being a dancer." Fast forward, I go back to work for Cindy. She says the same thing. So she says, "I'm going to give you a task." And the task was there were some young boys at the studio, and they needed a dance choreographed. And I went in there, and I choreographed the dance. It was horrible. Horrible. But that was my segue into choreography. And then after that, I fell in love with the kids, though. I saw me in the kids.
Yeah.
And then there was a Coca-Cola stepping commercial.
Cool.
And she was telling me, she was like, "Hey, there's a commercial. I want to show you how to submit, like what that looks like as a choreographer. You're not going to get it, but put something together. I'm going to submit it and go through the thing." So she talked me through that. I ended up booking the commercial.
Wow.
And that was my like, okay, I need to really just focus on this.
Yeah. So cool that not only did your sister say it to you, but she said it as well.
Yeah.
I think when you hear something multiple times from the people around you, it's like a sign.
Yeah.
You can't ignore it
Yeah.
at that point, you know? Like if you brush it off the first time, but then it keeps coming up, you got to kind of take note of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really big on that too. I pray a lot.
Yeah.
And you know, God has always put when it's something stern and he wants me to hear it, it always comes through just like that.
Right.
Like, this is what you need to be doing. And, you know, it all works itself out.
Yeah, totally. And it's cool too that she took you under her wing in a way where she wanted to mentor you and show you how to submit and do that, because I think, you know, sometimes when you are working on the back end, there can be a conflict of, you know, you not performing because you're working on the business side. So to get to do both and have kind of the inside knowledge and get to kind of use it to your advantage is really cool.
It's powerful.
Absolutely. Because you kind of have, you know, a leg up in understanding the industry from a whole.
You learn the business first.
Yeah. Then most people, performers, they just know, you know, the front-facing side of things. So having that kind of in your back pocket is definitely helpful.
Yeah. Later on in my career, I grew to be very thankful for that because it's helped me navigate a lot of different things. So, yeah.
Totally. Yeah. So from that Coca-Cola commercial and even choreographing that dance, you said when you choreographed that dance, it was horrible.
Horrible. Oh, my God. They had basketballs. I remember that. I don't remember the song, but they had basketballs. But it was horrible. But that started my journey working with the youth.
Yeah.
And I immediately fell in love with that because I saw it healed a young part of me working with them. So I was able, and as I was growing as a creative, I was able to make my creative mistakes on them and also pour everything that I had in me to them, you know, give it to them and then start to see them grow. And that's how Behind the Movement started.
So, let's talk about Behind the Movement because that program is incredible. And we met in Philly at Creative Reaction's old studio. The first studio. And I took your class, and I was like, when I heard about BTM, I'm like, I must do it. Like that class was so inspiring to me and pushed me really hard. And I was like, I need more of this, and made the trip to Atlanta. And
you did. 3 times.
Yes, I did. And it, like that whole program, you get to see so many different things, and it really does prepare you for dancing professionally. You get to do that live show. You get to practice quick changes, working with a group, learning the audition process, the callback process. And you bring in a bunch of BTM alumni who are working professionally, which one is inspiring to have those dancers in the room. And also too, like on lunch breaks, I remember a lot of us would ask them questions about their careers and learn from them and hear what it's like dancing professionally. So this idea came to be, how did you start putting the pieces together to create it?
So the program that you attended was later on down the line. BTM started in 2015 as a showcase at Dance 401 to raise money for kids to, you know, to dance. Because a lot of the kids that we were training, and, you know, I call Dance 401 the house of refuge. Like you could walk in there with 2 left feet and walk away with a dream,
Yeah.
And these kids were that, and they walked in and they didn't have the resources in order to participate. So they were actually thinking about getting rid of some of the kids on the business side. And I was like, no. Let me create a program. I've had this idea. And I actually wrote this down on tour. I was like, Behind the Movement. I didn't know what I wrote it down for. I was like, wait, I could do a showcase called Behind the Movement. We could interview the kids, and then we could just do our dance numbers, and then all the proceeds will go back to them.
It's amazing.
I was working at this school called Love It in Atlanta, and I was teaching hip hop there. And I went to the artistic director, and I told them what was going on, and asked if we could use the theater, and they gave it to us. And that was our first show, and the first Behind the Movement in 2015. So it started as a showcase.
Yeah.
From the showcase, I started the day intensive.
Yeah.
So the day intensive was like 7 to 8 hours, and you just had back-to-back classes, and then COVID happened. And then when COVID happened, everybody kind of was figuring out life.
Yeah.
But I had this vision. I'm like, I loved crossover studios in Atlanta. Like, I just felt like even moving there, I was like, if you get to crossover, you've made it, because that's where, that's like the center staging here in LA.
Right.
I was like, people don't understand the process. And I wanted to give people an inside look on what the process is like, because class is so much different than being in an actual rehearsal.
Right.
Classes where you dance and you train, but actually being in a rehearsal, you have to use all skills, even outside of dance, to remain in that room. And I wanted to create something that mirrored that, and that's how BTM, the Live Intensive, started. I partnered with Billy at Crossover, and we had the first one in 2021, I believe. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And now we're on our 12th one coming up in August.
It's incredible. Yeah. And it's so great that it started with that, wanting to provide a space for youth to dance and raise money and raise funding for them to be able to train, and just have that purpose of giving back to the next generation.
Yeah.
I think that's really special. And like you said, the healing part, I think, when you see the dreams in the next generation in their eyes the same way that you had those dreams, it's kind of like, you remember younger you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time I look at my boys, I see younger me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is very fulfilling.
Absolutely. And seeing how BTM's progressed from a showcase to an intensive day to now a full week program.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
I'm very grateful. Very, very grateful.
Yeah, and super impressive. And I love that, more and more people are coming and training and taking part. I couldn't recommend the intensive more.
Get your tickets August 3rd through the 8th, Atlanta, Georgia, 2026.
Yes. Yeah. And it is so true. You can take as many classes as possible and improve your craft and improve your dancing. But until you're working a job and in the room rehearsing a job, you might not really know what that process looks like.
Yep.
And so the BTM experience, you get to walk through that process. And like you said, training at that studio, like, you won't be able to just get access to that studio unless you do book that job with that artist. So to get even familiar with the space and what it's like working in a studio like that is really incredible.
Yeah. And I think it also produces life lessons.
Absolutely.
Just seeing you doing this, like, you took that opportunity of wanting to be a dancer, but you were able to learn other folds in that too. You learned about auditions. We had agents there. We had, so I'm very proud of you for, taking that program and letting that be a part of your journey. For one, I'm grateful that you trusted me with that 3 times. But also I'm proud to see where that has taken you and where it is going to take you. So kudos to you. This is great.
It's definitely a program that will push you outside of your comfort zone. And, anything you're kind of holding back, it'll be brought right to the forefront, and you got to face it and deal with it.
Break it down to build you up.
Exactly. It's absolutely.
First thing I say,
Yes. Yeah. And I remember even doing it in Philly post a accident, an injury I had from a car accident. And I remember walking in the first day feeling really down because I hadn't been training as much as I am used to training. And we did the audition process, and I'm very confident usually, and I walk in and I kill it, and it's, you know, in that process, it's usually always been like, yes, Mia, we would keep you. And you said to me, you were like, you would need to prove it to me today. Like, I would need to see it again. You would need to prove it to me. And I was like, damn. Like, and
Which one was this?
This was in Philly. At
and you had did the other one before.
Yes, I had did it like 3 times in Atlanta. But it was like 6 months off this injury, and I hadn't been dancing. And I knew that, you know, coming to Philly and doing it's a program that's going to get you back in shape and get you back feeling good. And so I wanted to do it. But that first day, you said that, and I was like, dang. And then I was like, my stamina wasn't what it was. And I went home that day, and I was like, not feeling great. And I was like talking to my grandfather about it, and he was like, do it or don't. You need to go in there and do it, or, like,
that's right.
Do it or don't. And he was like, you know, you got this. So come back. So I like wore a different outfit. I put my hair up in a ponytail. I like did something.
Yeah, that ponytail. That's what I remember. That ponytail. Yes.
I was like, let me go back to something I know is gonna, like, you know, bring it out of me. Something that's gonna make me feel confident. And I came back in the next day and just went ham. And I like Chris like ended up selecting me to like lead that piece, and you said something to me of like, this is the Mia that I know.
There we
like,
go.
And so that program, like, it will push it all to the front, but then make you kind of level up. You know, and I think part of it too wasn't even like that my ability had gone away, but my confidence had dropped, and so it helped me find that again. And by the end of the week, I was like, all right, I'm back.
I love hearing that. I love hearing stories like that. You know, the injury just knocked you off your greatness for a minute. We had to kick it back in you, but you got it.
And another lesson I learned that's stayed with me is you said to everyone in the room, like, you have to know how to just vibe when you're in a room. You have to kind of, like, you know, be aware of your surroundings, be able to pick up on things. And I think that's something like, you know, dance is, while you work with a team when you're on a tour, it's kind of an independent sport in the way where, like, you go to class and it's on you to, like, do what you need to do. And you can kind of be focused on yourself when there's so many other things happening around you. And when you're a part of, you know, a tour or a job, there's production, there's so many things being involved that you really do need to be aware of everything. So that's something I learned from the program too, that I think is helpful to kind of change dancers' minds to focus around all the other things that go into it too.
I love it. I love it. Tell them, Mia. Let them know what it is. Let them know what it is. But yeah, those are also important. And again, like, those are things that you take into life. Those are not just dance things. Those, like, you know, I don't care what you do. You got to be aware, you know, and you're going to have good days and bad days, but you're either going to do it or you're not, as your grandpa said. You know? So you got to keep showing up.
Right. And so this program, you know, started with you wanting to give back to kids and mentor and educate them. You created Dear Black Boy. And that kind of, I think, stemmed from the same thing.
Yeah, that was a passion project. I've mentored and trained a lot of young black men, Bernard Bell, Scooter, Chance, the list goes on. And I have such a deep relationship with them. I don't have any biological kids, but I do feel like they made me a father. And their stories are so powerful, you know, and I just spending, you know, personal time with them, knowing what they went through and knowing how dance has healed and is still healing them as they go on their journeys. I just felt like that story needed to be told in a different aspect. And it was something I was sitting on for a while. In April 2023, that was I did a concept video. I threw it together real quick. It was one day of rehearsal. I put them all in these suits from Boohoo Man, and I was like, we're about to do the show called Dear Black Boy. And they were like, okay. You know, and I told them about it. We did the video. The video went crazy. And then, we did the show, and the show was beautiful. It was beautiful. It touched on 7 subjects. It was culture, family, love, sexuality, dreams, and I believe goals. I'm missing one. It will come back to me. I think it was spirituality. But And I had someone come in and just interview us very organically, and then me and Jonathan Davis, we edited the interviews just based on what we felt,
Yeah.
was most powerful, and we just got to hear their stories, and then you would hear their stories, and then from there you would get to physically feel what
Yeah.
that looked like.
That's so powerful.
Yeah, thank you.
To
Yeah.
see their, performance and what they love to do, but also the people
Yep.
behind it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And I think that representation is so important.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. There. This is a whole nother conversation, but we deal with a lot as black men, and a lot of times we're very quiet about it, or we pour everything that we have into what we love, which
Yeah.
in this case would be our art,
Yeah.
which is very healing and therapeutic. But also, what I've learned just from healing and growing is it's also therapeutic to talk about it. It's also therapeutic to get it off of your chest. And
Totally.
that was a very therapeutic time. I think that was the most vulnerable I've been in a very long time putting together that show. So much so we haven't put it back on yet, but it's coming back. But yeah, I'm proud of BTM. I love BTM. That is my baby. But I'm very proud of that show, and I think it reached the masses of all people, all races, all everybody. And I think it was and it is needed for the community.
Definitely. I think that's so important and so amazing that you've put that together.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I can't wait. I hope it does come back. I would
Yes,
love
it
to
will
see
be
it.
coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, other than, mentoring and educating, you work professionally as a choreographer.
Yeah.
What are some jobs you've done and what does that process look like?
Woo.
Maybe your favorites.
Favorite jobs. Let me think. So I was the creative director for BET Hip Hop Awards for a couple of years. That was definitely my favorite. That's also a testimony story too, and this goes back to do the work.
Yeah.
I started BET as a stand-in. And a stand-in, we read off the teleprompters, we accept the awards,
Yeah.
we're standing in for the actual people that will actually be there so that people can do their camera blocking and lighting and all the things. And I would watch all the performances, and I'm like, I'm gonna do that one day, and just dreaming, just sitting
Yeah.
in the audience dreaming, but still there.
Yeah.
I believe this was 2015. Nefertiti, one of the agents, had called me and said that they were looking for a choreographer for a choir. Big Sean was performing. This was for the United Negro College Fund though at the
Okay.
time. They had an award show, and she was like, go up to the desk and tell them that you're there, and that started my relationship with Jesse Collins, and then from there, a couple of years later, 2019, I got my first chance to choreograph for the actual show and hire the dancers and do all the things. So that job in particular really stretched me and pushed me as not only a choreographer and a creative director, because oftentimes we didn't have a lot of time to do anything. So I think the last year that the last 2 years that I did it, I was choreographing up until the day of the show. So,
Wow.
but I'm grateful for that job because it really pushed me to learn how to work quickly, swiftly, sell the product. I was selling treatments, and hey, we should do this, we should build it like this, X, Y, Z content needs to look like this, and it just really pushed me as a creative. So that is one of my favorite jobs.
Definitely. And so cool. You went from a stand-in to then creative directing.
Creative directing.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's crazy. Even talking about it now, I'm like, eh. And then, of course, Big Lotto. That's my baby. I've seen her. I was with her at the beginning when she was on the Rap Game. We did the Rap Game tour, and then I worked with her all the way up into the Big Energy era. So just seeing her journey and how hard she worked and being able to really cultivate her performance quality and how she presents herself to the world from a young girl to an adult was a really big thing that I'm proud of. Yeah.
Yeah, and cool to work with such an artist that's super hardworking as
Yeah.
well, you know,
Yeah.
and takes it very serious. And like she's been doing it for a minute.
Yeah.
So then to kind of combine two hardworking people and see
Yeah.
what happens is amazing.
Yeah.
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 She's definitely one of my
Yep.
favorites.
Yep. It's your baby, huh?
Yeah. So,
love it.
Jeremy, what does a day on your call sheet look like now?
I don't know. It changes day to day.
Yeah.
It changes day to day. It's calmer.
Yeah.
I'm taking a lot of time for myself. So I'm at that space in my career to where I'm not fighting for something anymore,
Yeah.
or like, I just kind of let it come, So putting more energy into behind the movement, more energy into Dear Black Boy, more energy into the products that I've built.
Yeah.
And I think this go round, career-wise, I've done a lot and I'm very grateful.
Yeah.
But I want to do more meaningful work. I want to work with artists that are really shifting the culture. I want to do things that, will stand the test of time. I want to be challenged creatively. I want to tell stories. So
Yeah.
I'm starting to put more of that out,
Yeah. Do you think when you were like, fighting for that work and fighting for those jobs, that through doing that, you kind of now can kind of look back and see what matters to you now more?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because when you're in it, it's always like hustle, 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 hustle. And don't get me wrong, there's still a little hustle in there.
Yeah.
But,
totally.
You get to a point where you've done a lot and you planted a lot of seeds and now you have to let them grow.
Yeah.
Because if you're continuing to hustle, it almost looks like you're begging. You don't need to beg. You've planted the seeds,
Yeah.
and you have to understand, like, a lot of what you planted is so that other people can grow, because also being an educator is a very selfless act.
Yeah.
So I think I'm at that point where I'm just sitting back, letting everything grow, and whatever comes, it'll come, and we'll move forward.
Yeah. When you were hustling, what did that look like?
Sending in treatments, hitting up managers. Hey, do you need a choreographer, creative director? Even when working with an artist, I'll be 10 steps ahead. Like, we should do this, and we should go here, and we should go, and have you seen this stylist? Have you seen this photographer? Like, I'll be hired as a choreographer and go in there like I'm a creative director, because I'm very passionate about what I do. You're never going to just go on a job and just be like, okay, here you go, I love what I do, and I love working with people. So, that would be the hustle of it all.
Yeah, totally. What advice would you have for aspiring choreographers and creative directors as they're navigating their careers?
Yeah. Don't be afraid of the work. I think we're in a very social climate of, wanting to be seen, but it's what we don't see that's how you're going to get to where you are being able to be seen. Yeah. It's those nights where, nobody's going to see you, putting together treatments and building choreo at 1 a.m. or you getting inspired, like, let me get my friends together, like, let me build this X, Y, and Z, do the work. Just put one foot in front of the other, and it'll meet you wherever you need to, whenever it needs to meet you.
Yeah. And there's so many different mediums. There's live stage, there's television, film, there's so many different mediums. What is your favorite and why?
Live stage.
Yeah.
Live stage, hands down. I think that's where I soar.
Yeah.
Because I think from an audience perspective, and I'm such a visionary. Like, when I hear a song, I can create a treatment, like, in my head, like that. Like, that should be like that. The lighting should be like that. And the dancer should feel like this. Or this person should choreograph this part. And I just know, going back to that velvet rope, what I felt in that moment.
Yeah.
I know from a fan's perspective what that feels like. And it's nothing like seeing your favorite artist and, going to see them in concert and walking away with an experience that forever lives with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Chris Brown in concert many a
Mm-hmm.
times.
Mm-hmm.
And in high school, I went with a friend, and you just never forget that feeling. Can be so inspiring.
Yeah.
And I love talking with friends one of my friends saw a concert recently and was like, yeah, I want to be on stage. Like, it just, that feeling is like no other,
Yeah.
And I think being a part of that, creative direction and bringing that to life
Yeah.
is so cool. And love live stage as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's no feeling like it,
Yeah.
the angst or the tension before you go on stage,
That
and then
tension, yeah. And even from an audience perspective, you know what my favorite part of the show is?
What?
The opening. That opening video, whatever that opening is, it sets the tone. It's just like I've been waiting, because you think from a fan's perspective, like they've probably saved up their hard-earned money to get to this place. They've been following this artist probably forever, and then you get your good outfit on, you get your friends, you got your cocktail, you there, and you're waiting. You got your opening acts, and then that moment right before they come on, and you don't know what to expect. That moment right there, it's priceless.
Yeah, it's so true, because you're all that goes into it, and then you're standing there, you're waiting. You see the opening act, and then when they come on stage, it's just so exciting.
You're engulfed in that experience.
Yeah. All right, let's get into some segments.
All right, let's do it.
So the first one is hot takes in Hollywood. So it's going to be a quick this or that.
All
right. Creative directing or choreographing?
Creative directing.
Yeah. Artist tour or award show?
Tour.
Atlanta or Los Angeles? Tough.
Forever. I love Atlanta.
Yeah. Audition or direct book?
I love a good audition. I mean, we need to get back to audition.
You know what? I knew you were going to say that.
We need to get back to getting the kids into the audition. And this is the note to all the choreographers out there. There's so many new, young creatives out here, that are talented, gifted, and responsible, because that's the thing. You want to work with who you know. But we need to get back to making the kids work for the jobs. Auditioning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a cool experience for people to fight for what they want.
Fighting for it. You're in the room, you're sweating, the music is, you gotta, it's, I can go on about that. But
when you book it, it feels so much more like
and then from our perspective, being able to give somebody that first opportunity just feels good too.
Yeah. Definitely, giving that person a step to their dream.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, talent or work ethic?
Work ethic.
Absolutely, all day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rehearsal room or performance day?
Rehearsal room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The process. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what makes the performance, so much better and pay off. Is all the the hard work you're putting in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Commercial dance or concert dance?
Commercial, because I don't know that much about concert, but I do love concert dance, but definitely commercial dance.
Yeah, totally. Teaching or creating? It's hard.
That's hard. I'm going to have to say both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to fact or fiction.
Uh-oh.
So we're going to...
Why am I nervous? I'm like, okay, what's going on?
So we're going to bust some myths about dance and entertainment.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a little more hot takes.
Okay.
Yeah. First one being, you have to move to Los Angeles to make it.
Fiction. You build the right relationships with the right people, you will work.
Yeah. Do you think you have to be in a big city?
Yeah. Or I think you have to plan and put yourself around the right people. I do know people that don't live in big cities that are consistently working and have never actually moved. They just know when to come out. They come out often. They build the right relationships, and, they're able to, maneuver like that. Yeah.
That makes sense. Even, BTM alumni, Kendall and Brittany, they're based in
Yeah,
Philly.
they are.
But they'll come out for an audition. They're close to New York being in Philly. So it is possible, as long, like you said, you have the right relationships and you're able to kind of be there when you need to be.
And they're good people. Shout out to Brittany and Kendall. I love those two so much. Like, they're really good people. And that also plays a factor in that.
Yeah. The next one is the best dancer gets the job.
No. Fiction.
Yeah.
The responsible dancer gets the job. The respectful dancer gets the job. The dancer that's on time gets the job.
Yeah.
In my room.
Yeah. I know
Yeah.
that's big for you. We
Yeah.
learned that at
Yep.
PTM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can teach somebody how to dance. Yeah. I'm not
Right.
there to babysit you. Yeah.
Yeah. What makes you rehire a dancer?
Consistency. And I want to like you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
yeah, just it's like any other job. Any other job. You're responsible, you show up on time, and you do your job and you do it well. Even if there's mistakes, as long as you're fighting to make it right or you're doing all the things in order to make it right and I can see that you're trying, I'm going to want to help you.
Yeah. It's that integrity that you notice in a dancer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one is dance careers don't last.
That's fiction. Yeah, I know people my age that are still up there hitting the step.
Yeah.
I think it's how you take care of your body and how you maneuver through this industry.
Yeah, because I think, even growing up, when you tell people you want to be a dancer, people will say, like, all right, well, at age 30, it's kind of like, or if you want to be a ballet dancer with point, like, there's a lot of, talk about it not lasting that long. What do you think is the key to a long-lasting dance career?
I think it's subjective on what that looks like for you. I think in any career, it's just learning how to navigate it for what's best for you. And just make sure, you have great relationships.
Yeah.
Vice versa. You started with dance, but now you have a podcast. You're working at an agency. That is all under the umbrella of dance.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, as long as you're consistent with what you're doing and you learn all avenues of it too.
Yeah.
That'll keep you in a room. I know some people that, they train, but they got opportunities for jobs based on their relationships in other departments of the industry.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's just all how you navigate it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Like, you could know the makeup person for something, and they hear that they're needing a dancer, and you made a good impression with them, and they have you in mind.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
So kind of like also talking to all departments, not just the people you might think you need to be, communicating with, but everyone in a room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Now we're going to get into our crafty corner.
Oh, God.
I'm excited for your answer for this one.
Okay.
What does your dream crafty table look like?
Okay, so there's this popcorn. You know the big bag of popcorn with the Buddha on it?
Yes.
They have a flavor. It's fiery hot.
Okay.
That. Water, and coffee, gum. I think I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I think I'm cool with that.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Gotta have my coffee, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And what's in your bag when you're like in a rehearsal room or on a set for something?
Cologne. A shirt.
Yeah.
A notebook of some sort. Yeah, those, of course, my wallet and keys and stuff like that. But definitely the cologne, the notebook, and the shirt, that's going to be there.
Yeah, so important. The cologne and perfume when you're in a room all
Yes.
day with people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pay the scent.
Definitely.
Yes. Wash up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our next segment is Industry Icks.
Okay.
So what's on your industry betrayal list?
Unloyal people.
Yep.
I don't like people that are opportunists or that are not loyal.
Yeah.
And it's not that you owe anybody anything. It's just be real.
Right.
Just be real and be consistent, Yeah, that's probably my biggest one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And unprofessionalism.
Yeah.
Like, unprofessionalism. Like the ones that try to come in and run the room and like, oh, shut up. Just shut up. Just let's, it doesn't have to be like that. You
Right.
know? So Yeah, those are my two biggest things.
I second that. Those
Yeah.
are probably my two big ones too. Yeah. I am definitely a very loyal person, and I think and very professional. I think when you are something so strongly and then you see other people that don't have those same values in the way that you do, it can be like jarring.
Yeah.
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 So I'm with you on those two, and those are so important to just like lasting in any industry and with whatever you want to do, and even just like around people. Like those are two skills that are like and traits that are so important.
And I also think, a lot of people feel like they have to act like that in order to navigate this industry, but you will get so much joy and peace just being yourself.
Yeah.
Just being a good person. Like, I mean, and we all been there, tried to put on, to impress this person. Cut all that shit out. Just be yourself, show up, do the work, you'll work.
Yeah. Definitely. I had a professor in college who said, like, be on time, be fun to work with, and you'll keep getting called back.
That's it. And look good. Make sure you look good.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. We've talked about at BTM the difference between like what you wear to rehearsal versus what you wear to an audition.
See?
Yeah. What's your opinion?
Just make it look good, right? You know you're going to be sweating. You know you're going to be like, like I tell you guys, just make sure the black looks good.
Right.
And make sure, don't overdress. Like, sometimes I see dancers with bangles and this and this and it's falling all off while you rehearse. Like, just put some nice black on, whatever you can afford. Make sure you look decent in the face. Make sure your hair is the best that it can be with what you're doing. And, just look presentable.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's important. You want to work with these camps, but you have to understand you become a part of that crew, and they don't want anybody that's just showing up looking any type of way. You know?
They want people that are going to make them look better, people that look good and cool behind them.
And the choreographer, too, because 9 times out of 10, the choreographer's presenting you to this camp, they're going to be like, well, what's happening? So, yeah. So just make sure you look good.
Yeah, definitely. What are materials dancers should absolutely have if they want to work?
Materials. A good Instagram with good videos. Meaning that you look good in the combo. Good headshots. Physical ones. Cardstock paper, front and back, right?
Yeah.
And then put your pictures on your social media. And yeah, all your jobs that you've done, make sure that they're pinned so we can see your level of professionalism when we go to your page. And
yeah, there's even a new feature on Instagram now where you can reorder your feed.
I was thinking about doing that actually.
It's so
Is it
cool.
good?
Yes, I
Okay.
started working at it because you can now move, because you can only pin 3 posts. But now you can like move other things up to the top of your page. So I think that's something dancers can do, like pin, that headshot, a good job, and a video. But if you have other videos you really like that you've done, like move those up to the top. So when people see it, that's what's at the top of the page. Yeah.
Put all your work up there, and so that way, because the attention span is what, 20 seconds. We're gonna scroll. All right, yay or nay. Especially if I'm submitting somebody like I still assist Fatima. You know, if I'm, she's quick with it. She's like, no, yeah, that works. So they're not going to sit there and go through all the things.
Yeah. Working with Fatima, what's one of the biggest lessons you've learned from her?
It will all work itself out.
Ah.
The way she navigates a room, impeccable. It will all work itself out. I think she's responsible for a lot of my calmness now.
Got it.
I will say she just, she's an icon.
Yeah.
And just how she navigates a room is just something to experience.
Yeah. And I think that calmness is so important, especially working in entertainment where things are constantly changing, but being able to remain calm, and you said it will work out, is a skill that will make you stand out, because people can get stressed out by those things, but knowing like, all right, this is part of it, but we're going to figure it out.
It all has to come together.
Yeah.
It has to.
Yeah. So we talked about what materials dancers should have. What about aspiring choreographers?
A good reel, put some good videos together, do some good concept videos. You know, you know what I love that the kids have been doing? I actually started doing it are the sessions. Just getting a couple of people
Yeah.
together, putting some choreography on it, and just posting. I like that. Also, I encourage choreographers to try, inspiring choreographers to try and assist someone.
Yeah.
And it's not, and I'm not saying with the steps right away. Just being in the room, maybe just grabbing a coffee or doing all the admin stuff, sending the emails, booking the dancers,
Yeah.
making sure we have music from production. If we're in the midst of something, learning all of that first, the conversational part of it, the business side, the admin side of it,
Yeah.
learning all of that first, because if you're not a punctual and responsible person and you don't know how to use a computer, you can hang the choreography stuff up, because 90% of the work is admin. The choreography side is the fun part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really glad you mentioned that, because I don't think that's something, you know, a lot of people may know is all that other work that, you know, it's not just creating steps. That's part of it, but there's a lot more on the back end that you need
so
to
much
know.
more on the back end. Like, you know, you have to learn how to move quickly, swiftly, and smartly.
Yeah. Yeah. And for anyone, you know, you're an entrepreneur, you started BTM. For someone who wants to start their own program, what advice do you have for them?
Make sure you have something to offer. Being an educator is very selfless.
Yeah.
And it's a gift. And I do believe you have to have a purpose to do that. And, you know, I do see programs on every block that I turn. But what are you teaching if you haven't been taught? What are you teaching if you haven't put in the work?
Right.
You know, we gotta, and I'm also gonna encourage the dancers to do your research on these people before you're investing in them. You know, the proof is in the pudding. See who they train, see who they built up, see who they have, you know, had a role in helping. You know, just because you book one job does not make you a master teacher and you have a program all of a sudden.
Right.
You know, and it's okay for you to choreograph and put some steps together and do all of that, but you're not a master teacher. And and this is just me, I don't think you should be taking money from people for a program.
Yeah.
That's just not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you got to go through things for that. You gotta put in the work for that. And also it's a very selfless act. There are times that I don't want to do it. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
There are times I'm extremely frustrated, you know, but it's my purpose. And I think you need to understand your purpose before you start doing things like that.
Yeah, such good advice. I think, you know, when you have that purpose, you have something to come back to and remind yourself the why.
The why, yep.
And, just, I just lost my train of thought.
The why.
The why. But also, because it just keeps you coming when you have those things that come into play, those doubts, those, you know, things that come up. That's what keeps you going, is that why.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All
Teaching is a gift.
Yes.
Use it wisely.
Yes. And, that's what I was going to say. I think it's great advice to tell dancers to do their research when it comes to that.
Your research.
Because people can do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to know who you're choosing to learn from and pay your money to and train under, because there are so many programs and you want to find the one that's best for you and the one you're going to get the most out of. And I think too, learning from someone who has had such a long career and has gone through the ups and downs, that's going to be way more beneficial than signing up for someone's program who's done one job.
One job. What are you about to teach? The choreography you learned on the job? Like, be smart. Just be smart, because also, and I'll say to these teachers that are doing that, you are responsible for these dancers' careers in that moment. When you take those funds and you say, come do my program and X, Y, and Z, it's not about you teaching steps. These are vulnerable individuals that are fighting for a dream. You got to be careful with that.
Yeah.
You really do have to be careful with that, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah. Jeremy, you are on Call Sheet Confessions.
Hey.
What is your call sheet confession?
My call sheet confession is why is this a hard
This one is kind of.
why is this so hard to answer?
It could be anything. It could be
Okay.
like a crazy, moment right before something hit the stage, or a time you had to fire someone, or a time you were fired, or like any like crazy moment people wouldn't know. Some people have shared like almost getting into an altercation.
We won't get into all of that. We'll leave that where it is. My call sheet confession is that I'm never late. That's my call sheet confession.
Yeah.
I'm never late. I'm very punctual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something super important because
Yeah.
with, when there's things on a call sheet, things that need to get done, people are expecting you here at a certain time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I respect people's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a really tough moment that you've had to overcome?
I think there's been a lot of that.
Yeah.
This career is very mental.
Yeah.
And, especially being a leader.
Yeah.
Because so many people expect so much out of you, but they forget that you're human. And they forget, like, it's one of you, and then it may be, so many people have done BTM, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And I've trained so many people, but, I think the mental hump of feeling like you have to please everybody is probably one of the biggest things where I'm just like, okay, look, this is the best I can do. I've done everything I can do,
Yeah.
and, you got to keep moving forward. So, yeah. So I think that's just a part of it that comes with it.
Yeah. Something my grandfather said to me since I was really young is just be the best you can be.
That's it.
And that's all you can do. If you know that you've given your best and you're doing your best, then that's all you can do. You got to be proud of. That's something to be proud of in itself. Yeah. In another life, if you weren't working in entertainment and dance, what would you be doing?
I would be a nurse or a teacher.
Teacher makes sense.
I would be
to me.
definitely a nurse or a teacher.
Yeah.
I love both of those professions.
Yeah. They're both nurturing.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, yeah. I enjoy helping people.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
And if you were starting over, we've shared a lot of advice, but any last words of advice?
Yeah, just be genuine.
Yeah.
We are living in a crazy world right now, and it's hard. I think it's hard for everybody. I think, emotionally, it is very taxing to turn on the TV and constantly see negativity.
Yeah.
I think the best thing we can do at this moment is just love on each other and just be genuine.
Yeah.
And mind your business. Yeah, I think it's that simple.
Definitely.
I really do. And, and like everything else we said, just do the work.
Yeah.
That's it.
In your career, is there anything you would have done differently?
You know what? I don't think, no. I think even with the ups and even with the lows, the mistakes, they've built who I am today, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah.
Things I regret, yes. Would it do differently? No.
Yeah. I think so. I think everything happens for a reason, and I really do believe that. So I think, like you said, even those ups and downs are things that maybe in the moment you regret.
Yeah.
Looking back, you understand why it happened and the lesson that you ended up learning from it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have a quote that your passion is your purpose and your purpose is your gift to the world. How do you recommend someone go about finding their purpose?
Your purpose will keep you up at night. Whatever you feel a need, wherever you feel a need or a void, or you see a void, or something that you just cannot shake, and it's like almost chasing you.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, that's probably your purpose. You just have to learn how to cultivate it, and the way to cultivate it is just to answer it and just go for it.
Yeah.
And there'll be ups and there'll be downs, but then you'll get little reminders here and there, or you'll walk into something and it can change your life. You just have to be persistent with it.
Yeah. Are you living your dream?
I am. I am. Yeah, I am. There's still things I want to do, But I'm very grateful and blessed for where I am today.
Yeah. What are some of those things that you want to do?
I definitely want to do Super Bowl.
Yes.
Yes, I definitely want to do Super Bowl. I would like to work with a male artist and just kind of like take a year to really just create some crazy, crazy, crazy creative, and be able to hire a whole bunch of young male dancers.
Yeah.
Not even young, but just male dancers in general, and we can really create some craziness.
Yeah.
And then there's some things I want to do with BTM, but I won't share right now.
Oh, we'll be looking forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to that Super Bowl because
Hey,
I'm manifesting it.
let's say it.
That would be amazing. I just know that would be killer.
Let's put it out in the air.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, Jeremy, thank you so much for coming on Call Sheet Confessions.
Thank you. This was great.
This was amazing.
This is my first podcast interview.
I feel
get to
so
do it
lucky.
with BTM alumni Mia. Yes! Let's give it up for Mia.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed this.
Thank you for taking the time. You've been such a huge part of my journey in BTM as well, and I want to shed light on all your incredible career and the programs that you've built and the lives that you've changed, mine being one of them.
Thank you.
And I'm just really grateful for you taking the time and getting to have you on here, since you have been such a huge part of my journey and many others.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I really do. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Well, where can we find you?
Instagram, J Green Productions, or www.jgreenproductions.com.
And BTM's coming up in August.
BTM is August. BTM the Live Intensive, August 3rd through the 8th. Also, I just started a new program called Live Sessions. A lot of dancers where they don't want the glitz and glam of it all. They just really want to get in the room privately and really train and really get down and dirty with what that looks like. So my first one was in New York 2 weeks ago, and it was incredible.
Awesome.
So I'm doing one in LA July 11th and 12th.
Okay.
So registration is open for that as well. So yeah.
Amazing. So exciting.
I'm excited.
Well, thank you again,
Thank
Jeremy.
you.
And thank you for watching this episode of Call Sheet Confessions. Always make sure to work hard and chase the dream, because if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. May your call times be reasonable and your checks be on time. And like
on
my
time.
Yes, on time. And like my Mimi always says, break a leg, but not really. We'll see you next time. Bye.